Celebrities are not your friends. Popular culture is not designed for you. Popular culture is a psychological weapon that's used against you. We have to stop following trends we see in the media and stop doing what the media tells us to do. Most of those influencers are not good people to begin with, and most of those media outlets that platform those creators are designed to sell you propaganda and hide the truth. Together with this relationship between the influencer and the media outlet, the entertainment industry serves as a mass social engineering device. In this series, I'm going to prove to you that the mass media is a psychological operation designed to manipulate us. And I'm going to prove that celebrities are engineered personalities designed to either sell you a lie or distract you from the truth. In fact, a lot of your favorite artists are not even really artists. They're just the face of a product. They're brand personalities. Some of the most famous singers don't use their own voices, and some of the most famous actors don't really show you their real face.
Please try to is not the same. I don't see the harm. If I said I want your body now, would you hold it against me? Boys, I love that ain't too old. Boys, and when a girl is with one, oh baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that I'm sick from above? Baby, thinking of you keeps me.
Their entire careers are willed into existence by dedicated teams of manipulators, bent on spinning into gold. And the problem has only become worse today, with social media driving most of the population into some form of parasocial delusion. Before, celebrities would only really dazzle us on television and in the theaters. But now you've got The Rock right in your pocket. He's looking right at you and telling you he loves you. The connection is so much more invasive today. It feels more real. It's affecting people on a much deeper level. It's almost like we're all in the Truman Show now. Everyone around us is actors, and the people that aren't actors are just playing along because they think that that's what reality is. But one of the scariest aspects of the entertainment industry is that a lot of the celebrity drama that you see drummed up in the news is intentionally orchestrated to generate a specific type of attention. Personal events like family dramas and relationships can serve this purpose, sure, but even monumental events like big book releases or iconic shows will be planned months in advance to coincide with world events. Celebrities are weapons of mass distraction. Anytime the media is telling you about something that a celebrity did, the question you should be asking yourself is, what kind of important news in the world are they trying to cover up? Every generation has their own iconic celebrity that they use to distract the public from the truth like this. Today, it's Taylor Swift, but they modeled her career off of Britney Spears. Britney Spears more or less invented the parasocial relationship. She even used to write blog posts on her website back in the day. That was considered very innovative. Britney Spears was used to cover up a lot of major world events. The Bush administration seemed to love her. Over the years, she's accumulated quite the list of distractions from important news stories. But every mainstream celebrity is part of the game. They all play a role. In today's video, I'm just using Britney Spears as my first example. Now, I don't think this entire game is orchestrated by a single entity that runs everything behind the scenes. I think that there's a collection of different groups that all have a shared understanding about what the rules are. And I can't really tell you why exactly so many celebrities are trying to manipulate public perception. But I can tell you at very least that anytime a celebrity is drumming up drama in the media, they're just doing it to either distract you or sell you something. They're either trying to generate attention for themselves or push propaganda. Everything your screen shows you is a lie. This episode will be shocking. I have to warn you that after watching this series, you're going to hate entertainment. Let's all unplug from the Matrix. When I say that pop culture is for stupid people, I'm not saying that you're stupid for liking it. Everybody loves a little bit of pop culture. I love Star Wars, I love Marvel. What I mean is that pop culture is designed to make you stupid. Pop culture is designed to keep you ignorant. If all you care about is celebrities and pop culture, and you don't care about politics, the environment, inflation, wars, and important things like that, then your leaders can change the entire world out from under your feet, and you'll be too distracted by Taylor Swift to notice. And there are people in the mainstream media that know that this is how it works. They'd have to know. CNN would be a good example. Think about a character like Anderson Cooper or Wolf Blitzer, whose entire career hinges on them knowing what's going on around the world all the time. That's their job. They would know that there's some kind of an embargo or a war with refugees dying somewhere in the world. Meanwhile, they'll be told to run a news story about Taylor Swift's carbon emissions or Britney Spears' new book release. Why did we hear so much about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? Isn't that weird? Why was that even televised? Why are celebrities so important? Britney Spears is actually related to Marilyn Monroe, believe it or not, but a lot of these high-profile celebrities and politicians are distantly related to each other. I've got a timeline for you here today that proves Britney Spears is the modern-day Marilyn Monroe. She was the White House favorite for around a decade. But Britney Spears was running cover for the United States government for a long time. This all goes back to the 90s, but I'm going to start my timeline with bizarre coincidences starting in 2002, where George Bush announced the disposal of radioactive waste at Yucca Mountain, Nevada. That's only about 100 miles outside of Las Vegas. Well, President George Bush made that announcement on the exact same day that Britney Spears' film Crossroads was released. And wouldn't you know it, coverage of Crossroads drowned out any news media coverage of the Yucca Mountain nuclear waste disposal. That one doesn't seem so bad, right? Well, just wait. It gets worse. Back in 2003, when President George Bush announced mission accomplished in the war in Iraq, well, that was the exact same day that Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera made out with Madonna at the Video Music Awards. Once again, Britney Spears overshadowed a major world event, and we all know now that George Bush was lying because the war in Iraq would go on to continue for at least another 10 years. Later that exact same year, Britney Spears was interviewed by CNN where they asked her if she trusted the president.
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just support that, you know, and be faithful in what happens.
Do you trust this president?
Yes, I do.
Michael Moore made fun of this in Fahrenheit 9/11, but this clip has been buried today. They went on to pretend that she never said this. Why would CNN do this at all? Why does the media make celebrities the social and moral leaders of our society? You have no business asking a young pop star what she thinks about the president during wartime. That's really up. That's way outside of her scope. And in hindsight, after that same mainstream media put her through the grinder and humiliated her over the years, that makes the media look really stupid for ever trusting her with things like this in the first place. They should know that she doesn't have meaningful insights about world events. They're hoping that you'll forget that they were the ones that told you to worship Britney in the first place. In 2004, Scooter Libby was found guilty in his trial for a scandal regarding the war in Iraq. Scooter was the chief of staff for Vice President Dick Cheney and the highest profile White House administration member to be declared a criminal since the Iran-Contra scandal in the 1980s. Well, at the end of the trial process leading up to the conviction, the media started blasting stories about Britney Spears' new 55-hour-long marriage with a total rando. Their entire affair began only a couple of days before the conviction process, and as soon as the conviction was completed, Britney Spears announced her annulment. The media is a complete joke. Later that year, she had another extremely sudden affair with Kevin Federline. The documentary they created is obviously quickly slapped together to generate drama. Well, that exact same day, George Bush announced the suspension of a handful of pollution laws. The second highest ranking Al-Qaeda member was shot dead in Iraq, and mysteriously, some of George Bush's own records were destroyed, according to the Pentagon. In 2006, photos of Britney driving with her children on her lap started to overwhelm the news feeds. Not only did this happen on the exact same day that the White House gave a classified briefing to a House committee on the NSA, but the public got so caught up in this story, they almost stopped talking about the midterm elections altogether. And only one day before the midterm election took place, where the Republicans were supposed to get the floor wiped with them and lose a ton of seats, well, that was the day that Britney Spears announced that she was splitting with Kevin Federline. And instead of paying attention to the midterm elections, everyone got sad about Britney Spears. In 2007, Britney Spears shaved her head on the exact same day that President George Bush announced the reformation of Al-Qaeda. Later that same year, the Attorney General admitted that he made a mistake firing 8 US attorneys. And that same day, a story magically leaked into the media about Britney Spears having an affair in rehab. You guys are pathetic. 2008 is when Britney Spears' conservatorship began, by the way. This becomes a big focal point in her storyline. Going into 2009, it appears that the Obama administration just wanted her to be a generic positive role model. So she works under the conservatorship until about 2019, releasing albums, performing, and working residencies. Briefly, for only 1 year in 2012, Britney Spears was a judge on the X Factor panel. Well, the exact same day that Britney Spears announced that she was going to be a judge on that show, Palestine performed a nationwide fast in protest of their treatment by Israel. Oh, and the United States also renewed their weapons contract with Baha Harain. Money, money, money. God, this is making me sick. Then in 2019, leading into 2020, as the entire world is starting to get nervous and shut down from a global sickness, Britney Spears takes a hiatus. Then a podcast dedicated to Britney Spears, hosted by 2 actresses, take a phone call from an anonymous guy. He then goes on to tell the podcast audience the supposed truth about the conditions of Britney Spears' conservatorship and dirty details about her family drama. And this sparks a big response from the Free Britney movement, who then go on to create rallies around the United States demanding that Britney Spears be released from these conditions. People go on to care more about Britney Spears and her conservatorship and family drama than they do about this global sickness going around shutting everything down. People care more about a sad blonde rich girl than they do about their own neighbor. On February 4th, 2021, on the exact same day that Johnson & Johnson released the first successful single-dose vaccine for the global sickness, well, that was the exact same day that the New York Times released the Emmy-nominated documentary Framing Britney Spears. September 12th, 2021, Britney Spears announces a new engagement to Sam Asghari. This engagement announcement comes on the exact same day that the FBI released and declassified their 9/11 documents. Link in the description, by the way. And which one do you think the media talked about more? And to follow it up, Netflix released their series, Britney vs. Spears, only a couple of weeks later. Nearing the end of 2021, Britney Spears' conservatorship supposedly ends, but then she goes on to start posting bizarre images and videos on Instagram. Now, this is my favorite part of the story because this is when the rest of the public starts to catch on that something's wrong. And people start asking questions like, Why are the things we're seeing and hearing from Britney Spears not making any sense? The problem is all the conspiracy theories that I've heard about this so far are all wrong. People have correctly pointed out that they started to notice AI and deepfake technology being used on Britney Spears' Instagram account. There are a handful of videos where in some way the deepfake technology somehow failed briefly, where either the digital effect on the face disappears for a second and you see the real actress's eyes, or her tattoos or body markings disappear when she's dancing and spinning around. And this makes a lot of her bizarre frantic behavior on the account make a lot more sense. Like the nonsensical captions, or that she would upload a picture and then immediately delete it and re-upload it again. She wasn't doing that because she was having a mental episode. They were testing her audience's reaction to all of the different AI generated material. They would then either delete the picture or video when they were done the experiment, or they would delete it when they noticed a mistake and then re-upload it with it fixed. Like, if you think about it, celebrities don't really tend to control their own social media accounts anyways. They usually have a whole team of people dedicated to their public image. Like, they would let someone worth as much as Britney Spears do something like that on Instagram. There would be a lot of people that would lose a lot of money if she just destroyed her career like that. When I was looking into this, I noticed that for a period of several months, Britney always had the exact same makeup, and she almost always had the exact same facial expression, and she would line her face up perfectly the exact same way in every video. And no matter how much spinning and dancing and jumping and whatever she would do, she would always quickly whip her face right back into that same position again. I also think it's pretty obvious that the deep fake model that they created was comprised out of photos that they took from a specific red carpet event. The images match up almost perfectly. The only difference is that the eyeliner and mascara looks a little bit more blurry or melty in the deep fake. Like, if you think about it, at any red carpet event with all the photos taken of every celebrity, you could create an AI deep fake model of almost any of them from a single night's worth of photos. Britney also has a really distinct, huge smile, and I've never seen the deepfake version of her do it once. And they put this AI deepfake version of Britney in everything. In the news, in the tabloids, in the documentaries. They even did a news piece about Britney making a scene at an Outback Steakhouse or something using the deepfake. Well, it's not a coincidence that they would use Britney for something like this, because both Britney and her husband at the time were invested in AI technologies and industry. Her new husband was the model for a virtual reality production where they were making him the perfect VR boyfriend or something. They were supposed to be developing a game where you could program him and go on dates with him. Oh God. Well, while that was happening, Metaphysics and Futureverse partner with the Creative Arts Agency, CAA, to create generative AI for artists. Basically, their plan is to create an AI deepfake version of every celebrity so that they can use it as a stand-in for social media and stuff like that. This is supposed to be a new form of media where anyone can build their own AI robot asset. And I just like to point out that AI taking over for celebrities as our future distraction really just proves that that's what celebrities were this entire time. A useless distraction. But wait, there's more. The exact day that Britney Spears announced her divorce from Sam, there was a human rights protest in Angola over the mass illegal imprisonment of minors. Then on October 23rd, 2023, Britney Spears' memoir is released, The Woman in Me. Everyone's excited, all the celebrities are posting that they got their copy. Meanwhile, this is the exact same day that Israel chose to intensify their bombing campaign in Gaza. That's when they chose to change their attack from leveling a few city blocks to wiping out the entire northern half of the strip. But you all had to talk about her book. There are a few other things that she did I didn't mention here, but this is just one celebrity. You gotta remember, there are hundreds of people like this that they're using this exact same way. Celebrities exist to dazzle you. They don't give a about you. And celebrities absolutely do take for granted that they will remain loved by you and the public forever, no matter what. Your exchange with celebrities is non-mutual. They're using you. And I just wanted to take this second to point out that it's been declassified that both the CIA and the American military have used Britney Spears music as a form of torture during intensive interrogations. Like, this is something that they would do at Guantanamo Bay. Also, the United States military has blasted Britney Spears music through the radio in Iraq and other occupied areas in the Middle East. They would saturate Iraqi radio stations with Britney Spears music as a blanket form of mass propaganda. The fact that the United States government does this proves that they know the point of this music is to manipulate and propagandize. Think about it. If they're using pop music to break occupied Iraqis and inmates, then they're using pop music to break us. Terrible pop music always manages to earworm its way into your head. Even if you hate the song, if you hear it enough times, eventually it will get stuck in there. That's why they play the song 4 times a day. They'd play it all day if they could. Oh, this is scary. Statistically, people are 4 times as likely to follow some form of celebrity on social media as opposed to a politician or a political leader. And though that might not be too shocking in and of itself, if you break it down by category, people are still more likely to follow a reality television star than a politician. That's depressing. According to Google, when asked which subject gets too much coverage in the news media, 40% of people said that celebrity news is the worst offender. That answer is more than 3 times as high as any other answer. Yet, even with all of this self-awareness, the public still manages to spend 2/3 of their time on social media and the news paying attention to celebrity drama and news events. I'm gonna throw a bunch of links to studies and articles on parasocial delusions and relationships, but this has become a global epidemic. The parasocial issue is so much worse than everybody thinks. A study has shown that 1 in 6 people in the UK believe that their relationship is suffering because they're spending more time interacting with celebrities on social media than their own partner. I can't believe that this is true, but a study has shown that at least 51% of people in the United States believe that they have some sort of interpersonal connection with a celebrity online. And those are just the people willing to admit it. That's the problem with things like this. It's hard to get people to admit that they would even be able to fall for something like this. 51% of Americans believe that they've either created some sort of a unique bond with a celebrity, they consider a celebrity their personal friend, or they think of a celebrity in relationship terms. So that means 51% of Americans believe that a celebrity has posted something on their Twitter or their Instagram just for them. There are 3 levels of parasocial relationship. Entertainment social, where a celebrity is a source of gossip or entertainment. Intense personal, where someone feels impulsive feelings towards a celebrity, like love or even hatred. And then borderline pathological, where someone has uncontrollable fantasies or behaviors. So if it's true that over 50% of Americans feel a personal connection to a celebrity through social media, then that means over half of the American population has borderline pathological parasocial delusions. So if you think that you have a personal connection to a celebrity through social media, don't worry, you're not crazy. This is a trick that the Matrix has played on everyone. It's like a form of digital witchcraft. Your screen and the media has tricked you. Shake it off. It's not real. Even Forbes magazine said that influencers are the new brands back in 2016, 7 years ago. Celebrities are a business pretending to be a human being. Anyways, characters like Anderson Cooper on CNN know that they're running cover for important world events by selling us this celebrity drama garbage. These guys know what they're doing. If anyone would understand what's happening here, it would be the anchors that are literally telling us this news. They would know that every time something bad happens, they just tell us about celebrity drama. And then by the time the real story comes out, it happened so long ago that it's hard to create an emotional connection to the event. It doesn't even feel real anymore. They're intentionally waiting until their events have passed so that there's nothing you can do about it anyways. It was like a week ago when that happened. How are you supposed to fix it now? They know that they're behaving as puppets of the Matrix when women and children are dying on the other side of the world and they're reporting on celebrity drama. I don't know how they can live with themselves knowing that their job is to propagandize to the public and keep them ignorant of world events and run cover for your leaders when they enact evil on the world. Now that you understand these people a little bit better, you might try to compartmentalize them in your head and humanize them a bit. You know, they're famous influencers, artists that have been a big part of your life for a long time. You're still gonna wanna believe that they're a human being at the end of the day. We'll likely always retain some level of parasocial relationship with them, which is likely to keep them fairly anthropomorphic for the rest of our lives. Maybe they didn't choose this lifestyle. Maybe they were snatched up as talent and forced against their will to be a propaganda mouthpiece. But the craziest part is that a lot of these guys are not even real artists. They weren't tricked into doing this because they were the greatest singer of all time or the best actor that ever lived. A lot of the art that you consume is not even really them. You're allowed to like the art, but you need to know that it's not the people they show you. A lot of those voices are someone else singing. A lot of the things you watch in a film are not really those actors. Their entire world is fake. From their persona, to their body, to their talent. We don't actually know if there's a real human being underneath all of that artificial persona. A lot of those people are just playing characters. They were told to act wholesome, to act like they're down to earth. They're just pretending. Ultimately, we have to ask, why is the military using celebrities like this? Why are so many of them paraded around the world and used to propagandize and create a specific perception about the United States? Well, there's something I have to bring up that usually doesn't come up in normal conversations. Most celebrities are related to each other. They're all part of connected families. Whenever you bring up a conspiracy theory, one of the most common criticisms you'll hear is, don't you know how many people will have to be in on it to make that work? Well, yes, they can all be in on it. They are.